I'm here at GDLX 2024 with Joe from Retro Drive Studios, and you've got Retro Drive Revamped, which is a sort of reworking of a game you previously had on mobile, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so Retro Drive Revamped is almost like a remake of the mobile version. It is actually, we feel like it's a 1.9 rather than a second game, because we've done so much to it. Like, the controls feel completely different. There's so much more to do in the game, so much more obstacles, so much more collectibles, so much more than what was in the mobile game. So yeah, we feel like it's almost like a new game, but not quite.
So this has got some obvious super 80s styling, taking me back to my early childhood, this thing sort of neon and the grid and the silver and all that kind of stuff, kind of vaporwave the edge. You also got another Boomer reference, the sort of Chase HQ element where the police are chasing you too, right?
Yeah, there's a few levels where the police can chase you, so it really takes you back to like the 80s style movies where you get the cop chases and that sort of thing.
So what's the overall progression and gameplay loop and so on here?
So it's quite simple actually, so you're just driving against the clock to try and get the best time possible. There are many different races you can do, and there's also a narrative to it, so there's a reason behind why you're driving. There's an urge to try and catch up with your friends who have just gone out partying without you because you got left behind after class for doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And so you're just a college kid that's trying to catch up with your friends. And it's one of those, feels like one of those dreams where you're trying to get to somewhere, but it keeps moving further away. And it was trying to play around with that sort of, that anxiety, that feeling of a story. So
like you're running through syrup sort of thing, trying to get...
Yeah. One of those dreams, yeah.
That's definitely a sort of 80s high school buddy thing, isn't it? Always you're being held back for detention and it's like a Breakfast Club or something.
Bart Simpson sort of,
In terms of technical stuff, what were the things you had to overcome in those days? How did you get your handling running? Is that a custom system? And graphically, what did you have to overcome?
Yeah, I mean, we used a lot of plugins, but plugins are, they have their issues. And when you try and mix plugins together, they clash and have issues. Yeah. And we were even updating stuff last night, just trying to get it working. So we've had to, we'd say we'd use plugins, but we've also had to have our own say and our own technical spin on it, just so it works. And yeah, that's what we've been doing. I mean, the cars were all made by ourselves, the artwork's made by ourselves. We had an incredible Korean concept artist who did all the characters. Yeah. We had a really talented narrative story for us. And I was just the monkey in the middle, putting everything together and organising the team and everything else.
I mean, smart use of plugins and asset stores is a good thing. I mean, it saves you some time, doesn't it?
You kind of have to nowadays.
Yeah, I think you
do.
And
with the advent of AI and like created content using AI, I mean, every company's going to just start using more of it, right? So yeah.
And I think in that environment, especially, it's customization that makes it stand out, isn't it? You can start with something in the asset store and then start, just make it your own, and you've got basically your own asset. You can use it as kind of start. But like you say with plugins as well, there's often issues with updates, something like a new engine version comes out, you have to wait for the plugin to update, so you have to be quite careful with some of that.
And then Unity updates, or there's like I know people have issues on Social Beauty, so you don't have an issue on that on the other one, and maybe another one update clashes with another update of a different plugin, so you have to be careful when you update and careful with what you use. But I think it's just going to become more and more popular in the indie scene because it's impossible to make everything yourself. You're not a AAA studio, so you have to kind of find shortcuts to making things work.
And for developers who are out there trying to get towards their first release of a game and are inspired by things like what you've done, do you have any sort of overall tips or any overall sort of challenges that you overcame that you think would help them out?
Yeah, so when we developed our first game, me and my business partner, who's not here today, we came up with 3 core pillars, which was to don't burn out, number 1. It's like, if you don't feel like working, don't feel like you have to spend the weekend working on it. The second one was to make something cool that we're proud of. Yeah. And the third one was we have to release something.
Yeah.
And if you make something cool, you don't burn out, and you release something, I think you've succeeded as an indie dev. So if you can do those 3 things, that's great. There's always been bugs. There's always been people saying, "Oh, you could do this, you could do that," but they say that about AAA games, right?
I mean, there's definitely bugs in AAA games. That's
100%. I was playing Assassin's Creed, the London one. I couldn't even get past level 2. It was so bugged. It kept crashing on me. I just remember that game instinctively because I just couldn't play it. I did all the updates on PlayStation. It just didn't work.
Yeah, so in other words, it's like don't be don't get intimidated by the idea of getting something out there, even if it's not perfect. Just chuck it out there and see how people react, and that's probably a better learning process than hiding in your room and not releasing anything, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's different ways to release, right? You could do Steam. Steam's quite intensive. You can do Itch, which is a bit more chill. And if you've got more of a demo, Itch is probably the one you want to do. But yeah, get something out there. I honestly also say that, like, the process of making a game is like 50%. Then if you want to make it a success, it's like another 50%. So you've got like the marketing, you've got release management, you've got the platform stuff. You've got all the other small intricacies of it not working on certain devices, QA, going to these events, you know. So, if your game is taking 100% of your energy, your game's probably too big, so you probably should reduce it so it's a smaller game. And then that way you can spend your other energy doing things like this.
That's a really good bit of advice, I think. I think that'll help a lot of people out.
I've been thinking a lot about energy jars recently.
Yes, yeah.
Like in your day, you have an energy jar and you can only use so much of your jar on things, right? So it's about how much of that energy do you spend? And
yeah, it's a good analogy. So when is this going to be out? When can we play it?
So we're in interesting conversations at the moment, but I can't go into it.
Okay.
We're going to release in October, I think.
Okay, cool. So not long to wait then.
No, like
Nice.
It'll be here in like no time.
Okay, ace. Wicked. Well, very, very good luck.
Thank you.
And with your conversations as well. I hope it all goes well. And thank you very much for talking me through it.
I appreciate it. Thank
Thanks.
you. Cheers.